Right, we're back. Sorry about that. Linny was explaining the trick.
Caesar was a highly accomplished magician. But unfortunately, even he didn't manage to pull it off.
So,
Don't know what happened with the internet. Never usually do. It wasn't even flashing or anything, so it might have been on PlayStation side. If it does it again, I'll just have to wrap. But I was going to wrap up soonish anyway, so I need to get ready. So this last bit will probably only be like 15 minutes, half an hour, depending on how long the rest of this quest is.
I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side. And, sure enough, he always used his right hand as his dominant hand in public.
Okay. Nothing suspicious there.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which leads me to believe that Caesar was in fact left-handed.
Why would Caesar pretend to be right-handed?
Because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus their attention on the most important details of the task or situation at hand. But a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's attention at will, so as to avoid arousing their suspicion.
I can't trust them magicians, right?
The essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the falsehoods become all the more difficult to mask. And so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. Great magic always requires sacrifices, but in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. That's why he set his gadgets with the mechanism on his left.
Yeah, I know, dude. Maybe someone exploited that fact against him.
Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the secret door and make a swift escape. But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. He'd barely need to think about what he was doing because muscle memory would guide him through. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. It wasn't there. Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment to process what was going on. Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another second or two.
Someone moved the button, and it was enough to throw him off just long enough for the box to open up and drop him to his death. The magic trick ended in failure. So that only someone who knew him personally would know that. Which would be that man that we spoke to earlier, that was like, super, don't investigate it, and then conveniently we had like a bunch of men in black chasing us down.
But in reality, someone switched the boxes, and they did it to murder him. But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed? That would be difficult to pull off, no?
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move his props around without arousing suspicion. Someone who was always by his side. Isn't that right, Lorenzo?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie, could you? There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, you know. Silencing you the hard way just creates more problems for me to deal with. But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off like the lady, but you disappoint me.
You mean Gemma? So you are the one who's been threatening her!
Is it really a surprise? This isn't the mystery of all time, Paimon. I kind of solved all this pretty quick.
Yes, although
it was obviously him when he lost his temper the moment it was brought up. It was obviously him that beat up Gemma to keep the situation quiet. It was obviously him that was trying to bury his thievery.
Drop it. Which is why you can't leave this place alive. Take them out and make it quick.
Do your worst!
Mexican Paimon would have figured it out. Exactly. Anyway, I've got a goddess with me, so what the fuck would this come from?
Vengeance will be mine.
Now what are you gonna do? Did you really have to make a magic trick out of just catching up to the dude?
Oh, you kids are tougher than you look.
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't help you now. I think it's high time you started talking. And what I'd really like to know is, why did you murder Caesar?
If I had a mora for every time you said that man's name. Of course you idolized Caesar, everyone else did. But I was the real genius magician. Me, he was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into the fine art it is today. The aristocrats doffed their hats to me!
So it was jealousy.
Jealousy. Hatred, more like. I hated Caesar. All he cared about was his magic. He lived and breathed it. He poured everything into his street performances.
And that girl he liked said he was trying to impress, but just could never get the chance to do so, was probably Gemma as well.
What sort of fool devotes their life to the art of deception and never has a mora to show for it? But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. No one gave me a second look. All I ever heard was, "Oh, your master's amazing, isn't he?" Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice,
so yeah, you're just an egotist who didn't like the fact that people weren't doing it your way.
I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and it brought me nothing more than the life I already had.
So you killed him?
He forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their mora.
Oh gee, I wonder why. He forbade me from being a criminal.
And with his
I hated that.
Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I dabbled in my own brand of money-making magic, he would expose me, and it would destroy me.
Chaos, yeah.
I had to kill him. There was no other way.
Wow, that's a really deranged way of concluding that you have to kill him.
And this was your only motive?
It was reason enough. What other motive would I need?
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play. For instance, maybe you were in love with Gemma, but she was engaged to Caesar.
In love with Gemma? Don't be ridiculous.
Guess I was wrong about that then. Next question. Are you the Phantom Weasel?
I am. Caesar was so strict with me.
Yes, how dare he try and make me live an honest life?
That the sole purpose of magic was to bring joy to the world. I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the practical value of magic. Sure enough, it helped me fill my pockets with all kinds of valuable treasures.
Well, I heard that the Phantom Weasel stole from the rich and poor alike.
Oh yeah! Charlotte told us that the weasel would steal whatever people valued, no matter how much it was worth.
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief want with second-rate loot? I've only ever targeted high-value items. I stole cheap things as a way of practicing my craft. It was other people's overactive imaginations
Oh, doorbell,
that
1
conjured
second.
up the preposterous image they then dubbed the Phantom Weasel.
So, that's the story, huh? Well, I hope you're ready to tell it all over again during your trial.
What choice do I have? You're a pack of wolves, and you've got me between your jaws.
Well, what choice did you have? Oh, maybe the choice 10 years ago when you decided to kill someone. That was when you gave up your choice. Ugh.
So be it. I've enjoyed power and wealth for the last 10 years. The likes of which Caesar could never give me. I wouldn't choose for things to end this way, but I regret nothing.
You regret nothing? Alright.
Very well.
Use
In that
analogies to
case,
condescend.
I'll
Yeah, exactly.
contact the guards. Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me. I'll meet you just outside the workshop when I'm back.
You know, I'm just saying. Just fucking, I can sort it. We don't need to take this to court here. I can just end him.
Lily has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to framing him for the Phantom Weasel's crimes?
Look who's finally developed a conscience. What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it, because there'll be hell to pay.
Man, it's wild how often murder's been brought up in Fontaine compared to other regions. Like everyone's out for blood, one way or another in this fucking area.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lenny? Should we start preparing for your show?
Let me think. Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Gemma first. With Lorenzo in custody, Gemma will no longer have to fear for her safety.
Good point. We should go tell Gemma the good news right away. It'll give her some peace of mind for sure.
We only stopped him. What about the? I gotta say that the cronies don't have a boss anymore, so what does it matter that much? But what about those, like the men in black? Back at the cafe.
More speed.
Hi again, you two.
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Third?
Your third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about this. Everything in moderation. You're not gonna have any room left for dinner now.
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point. Well, it's done now. But try to eat a more balanced diet in the future.
Point taken.
I love Lynette. There's such a little element of sass in everything she says. I fucking love her. Come marry me. Wait.
Did everything go okay?
Of course. Lorenzo was no match for us. The guards are taking him into custody as we speak.
Yeah, it's not a good diet though.
Gosh, that's
She's just got a good
amazing.
sweet tooth.
I'm sorry. I still didn't know if I could trust you, but now it seems I can. I had my suspicions about Lorenzo.
But then also keep in mind, she's like a professional like stage musician who literally, like we saw in the performance, will put herself in the line of danger to like do these performances. I'd like to think that would require, oh, I don't know, some degree of fitness. Maybe don't go too crazy on the sugar because you might start getting like causing some stitches on yourself. Maybe know when to tone it back a little bit, Lynette, please. I don't want soda, so...
It's okay. We understand. He did threaten you. Paimon would find it hard to trust strangers in your position, too. But you don't need to be scared anymore. Everything's gonna be okay.
Also, I say it again, hang out quest with Lynette when. I want to hang out with her, that'd be fun.
Sorry.
I said not every single
My
4-star character has a
emotions are
hangout
all
event,
over the
obviously,
place right
but...
now. I've been waiting for this
I think
day to
Lynette's one of the
come
ones
for
I hope
so
gets
long.
one.
I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Caesar's property, which I found suspicious. But I had people
3-4
watching me
liters.
all
Jesus
the time,
Christ.
so I couldn't risk looking into it. I was so afraid.
I've only had
I was scared
orange
he'd
juice and
do
water
something
today.
terrible to me, and then no one would be left to visit Caesar's grave. So I never had the courage to speak out. Thank you all. Truly. Thank you so much.
Any suggestion? Everyone goes to the ceremony to announce the arrest.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name.
Oh, so we just skipped the whole trial bullshit.
I never would have guessed that Lorenzo
It's like,
was
well, he's
the
already
real
guilty,
Phantom
so what does it
Weasel.
matter?
He never showed any signs that there were problems between him and Caesar in public. From the outside, it looked like they got along great. Ugh, to think that lowlife's been living life to the fullest all this time, while Caesar's name was getting dragged through the mud. It's a travesty. At least his soul can finally rest in peace now. thanks to your efforts.
If only I'd realized before it was too late.
Don't blame yourself, Gemma. This isn't your fault.
Yeah, you still have the rest of your life to live. Caesar wouldn't want to see you spending it feeling guilty.
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like to come along? It might raise your spirits. This show will be a special one. We're holding it in Caesar's honor.
In Caesar's honor? Really? Oh, thank you. I'll be there.
Seems very good voice some sadness. Yeah. To be fair though,
Great.
I think
we'll see you tomorrow evening. Traffic,
especially as time's gone
Don't be
on,
late.
and like obviously like the writing's got more experience, and like the voice direction has like found its footing and whatnot. I think most, if not the whole English cast, are really, really good and on point. So the only time I had like some gripes is like back when the game first came out, there were some line deliveries here and there, and some voice direction decisions that were like, But we also know that like the English branch was still kind of early and still figuring a lot of shit out in that sense. So like now they have kind of figured it out. It seems a lot smoother as a whole.
Don't worry.
There's a hell of a lot more highs than lows in compared to how it used to be. The last time there was really like a voice decision I disagreed with was Kurumi. When from 2.0 to 2.1, her voice got higher pitched because the voice direction changed and they insisted that she should be higher pitched. And I was like, she leads an army. What do you mean you want her to be squeakier voiced? That was like the reason I didn't agree. I get it because it's like her actual personality is extremely introverted. She just forces herself because she's basically the priestess of her land. She has to be this leader. But still, the voice on this game. Yeah, it's not as simple as that though. You have to be, you know, you have to. It's like anything. You just send your voice in. And if they like it or like what they hear and think there's a place for it, they'll contact you and do the lines. You just have to probably have an agency, I'd have to guess.
Feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar's diary! We never found out if the two kids Caesar taught magic to were Linny and Lynette or not.
Have we got to go to the court for this? I imagine we do. Wait until the next evening. Oh, right. I didn't realize it was a day out. I imagine we're near the end of the story quest. Which, to be fair, the length of the story quest is just about right. Some of the character story quests... Fucking Jesus Christ. Like, I get it when it's the main story going on, because it's the main story. But sometimes, like, when it's the character stories, like, it's why I didn't cover that many of them throughout the time of Sumeru. Some of them were hellishly long, and there's like, I would read faster than they would talk, because I wasn't streaming it, so I would just do that. And they would still take forever. At one more level, we can get that key. So I think this one, assuming it ends here, we're going to see the performance and then probably talk to them about whether we were right about our theory. We'll probably wrap up, which I think is a good length. I remember when 2.0 dropped. 2.0 was brutal because there were two character tests and quests, that were mandatory before you could move on to the main plot. And so you had Ayaka and Yoimiya's first quest. And neither of them were short. So you had like the main story. The main story finally went on pause, and it's like, okay, I can't wait to see where this goes. What do you mean I have to do 2 more character quests yet? Oh, it's Lynette's the only one performing. No wonder Lynette let her sweet tooth go wild then. She's not involved in this performance, so she can just chill out and enjoy it. She's on break.
Everyone's excited to see another of Linny's magic shows! Wait. Lynette, shouldn't you be on stage by now?
Not this time. My brother's going solo today.
Yeah, now it makes sense why she let her sweet tooth one run wild yesterday, because she knew she wasn't performing, so what did it matter?
So, I'll be watching with you.
Aww.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's ready because the show is about to begin. The great magician Linny has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight. concluding with an
Oh, I already know. He's gonna
finale
he's gonna do what
that
Caesar
no
couldn't do a
audience has
decade
ever
ago
seen
because of
before.
the bullshit. He's gonna do it himself.
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare
Which, to be fair, I get that he'd be doing it to make it a tribute to Caesar, but it still requires a dummy falling to the ground, and I think that would be like PTSD triggering for his fiancée, who, you know, witnessed the actual person fall from that. Like, I get the idea, Linny, but I think you should have thought this through a little more if it's what you think you're gonna do. And he wows the audience with his skill.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just... It reminds me of him.
No wonder. Caesar was a famous magician too. So, how did you two first meet, Gemma?
Well, I was out on the street once.
Also, I can see
and I
Charlotte
saw
from
him
here on the
performing
next
for
table,
little
on the
children.
next row along.
Children
I can
love
see her
magic
pink hair and
because
big
they're
hat
willing to
from
believe in
anywhere,
things that can't be
and the monocle.
rationally explained. Caesar had this amazing way of bringing them into a dreamlike world, and somehow I felt drawn to him too. So I went up and asked him to do a trick for me.
Aw, that sounds so romantic. What trick did he do?
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his fingers, and it magically appeared on my head. I was so happy that day. No one had ever given me a flower before that.
Oh, that's so cute. Actually, now that you mention it, Linny's done that one before.
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like Caesar. So let's treasure the time we have with him.
Wait, are you saying that he was trying to flirt with me when he did that at the start of the quest? Oh, I didn't notice at all. Anyway.
After all, you never know when the people dearest to you might be gone.
I'd be sad because it's been
That's
caught.
right. It's all over now. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but at the very least, no one's gonna be intimidating you from now on. You can breathe easy at last, right?
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now, Phantom Weasel.
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what?
Wait, what?
The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
No. Oh.
What do you mean, Phantom Weasel?
As Linny once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their audience. But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. The spotlight is no place for someone with no more cards up their sleeve.
Like, Paimon can be considerate. She's just dumb. So sometimes she misses the cues.
It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time to put an end to it.
What are you talking about? Paimon doesn't like this riddle. Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going. Come on, say something!
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all enjoying the performance so far. There will now be a brief intermission, after which Linny will perform the most electrifying act of tonight's show, the one we've all been waiting for. The final performance will take place outside
Dude, there's a character in Fontaine called Robert, and there was a character we met on one of the other streams called Maurice.
Fashion.
Like... Stop it!
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places, did they? Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon. Let's talk somewhere else for now.
Damn, Lynette. Oh, since it's a performance, do we think Farina attended? But she doesn't feel the need to say anything, so she's just watching. Also, like, because it's a stage, the court area isn't there anymore, unless it's behind the red curtain, and it's just further back than I thought it was. I wonder how easy or difficult it is to set up then. Alright, Lynette, what did you figure out sitting down and talking with her all this time?
Dear me.
Jesus. Why is Lynette got such a firm, like, glare?
I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't do any tricks to liven up the mood. This is a big mistake for a magician to make, but thankfully I do have a backup plan. Now, who wants to hear a story?
Lenny? Don't we have more important things to address right now? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago. Oh, what the heck's going on?
All in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking. I know the questions you want to ask. And as it happens, the story I'm about to tell might answer a few of them.
Really? Well then, let's hear it! Paimon's dying of curiosity here!
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. She never missed a target, never left a trace, and
oh,
no
so the
treasure
copycat
was
Lorenzo, but she was the original.
But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day, she ran the risk of being exposed for who she was. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat, a false weasel to close the chapter on her behalf. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared enough similarities for people to buy the story when the truth came out.
So then what?
Being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe I don't need to get my hands dirty after all. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to make even me wonder whether there was really another mastermind behind all this, pulling the strings. But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale. What's brought this on, Linny? Is it something that Lorenzo said?
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing at all. But I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession, as if there was something else he was trying to hide.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me, even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that you, Gemma, are equally talented in this regard. With a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé, whose devotion to her betrothed is unshakable, even under threats of violence. Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Everyone sympathized with your plight. Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave?
Man, that is a huge dedication to the bit, though.
Behind his demise. No, not that poor lady. Perish the thought.
Lily, I know you're trying to make your point, but don't mock the woman.
Wait, so you mean the whole intimidation thing was just a hoax? Gemma and Lorenzo were both in on it? But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out, even at the end, instead of admitting to being the weasel himself?
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself
because he was a love-struck idiot and loved her.
Well, Linny, if you're so confident in your version of events, then I think the answer should be obvious. Having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the weasel remained free...
Look at that face on Lynette. She didn't buy it for a second. She's like, to arrest this bitch.
An excellent answer. Though sadly, a little dull.
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to change the topic to something more interesting, I'd be much obliged.
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like to understand. Why would the real weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people? Could you shed any light on that?
Of course. After all, we're just telling stories here, aren't we? If I had to guess, I would say that the real weasel must have had a terrible childhood. Left to fend for herself after her parents died young. Betrayed, scorned, beaten. She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using twigs and dirt for lack of ink and pen. She'd sew ugly rag dolls from whatever scrap material she could get her hands on. This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed, and she was content. Until the world decided that even this was too good for her. Once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. She felt like life was a miry pit that dragged her further down the more she struggled to escape. At that tender age, she should have been
Fontaine
happy.
not only has a problem with murder, but also has a problem with loved ones just secretly trying to stab each other in the back.
In the world passed her
or
by.
Loved ones just being kind of terrible people to the people they love.
This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain became a breeding ground for dark thoughts. Thoughts which festered and grew into a twisted solution to her troubles. I detest the happiness of others. In all its forms alike, I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and
Even
true.
Linny's like,
And it will fill the void in my soul.
That's some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, for a theoretical story.
Now it all makes sense.
Does this story satisfy you, Linny?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to clear up my confusion.
So what was with the warning letter?
Huh. That's right. What drove you to write that letter, Gemma? What were you trying to achieve there? Because without that, none of this would have ever come to light.
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by now. But it seems like someone still wasn't ready to let her finally be at peace. Linny. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter outside the Opera House. But why?
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever.
Oh, he put it there to lure people out. You clever little thug. Oh, I should have expected as much. You trained under Arlecchino, the ultimate manipulator.
Well, no need for me to be coy about it. Our goal was to clear Caesar's name. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it? You had no other agenda?
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear, just as you did to me 10 years ago.
Yep. They were out... Linny and Lynette were out for revenge from the very start. Because they were the kids that trained under Caesar, and so wanted answers for his death.
10 years ago? You mean Caesar's death? You met him? Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those two obnoxious kids. It's been so long, and you're all grown up now. I didn't recognize you. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something? And you went to all this trouble. Why? Because you feel like you still owe him something?
We remember all our debts, however great or small. 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, and his legacy was thrown out. 10 years on, and no one cares what the truth is anymore. But we did not forget, and so we came to find you.
Jesus, Linny, you're starting to get a little intimidating.
And? What exactly did you take from me? I'm still standing, as you can see. Lorenzo has admitted to everything. I'm free.
Free? Do you really think so? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, we must find our own truth. I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Prized possessions with nostalgic value, fervent hopes and dreams, and irreplaceable people. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the dead of night, stealing became your way of numbing the pain.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of crime to fill the hole? Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pains to make sure any suspicion would be directed towards him. But what did he have to gain from all that? He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything up for your sake. He's the reason that you haven't felt the compulsion to steal in all these years. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So I think you know, deep down, that he is the only truth you have in your life. But that truth is gone now. And I guarantee you, you'll never see it again.
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Jesus, Lynette. Enjoy being alone in your own little world of freedom, bitch.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods. I do hope you'll be able to bear it. You've still got a long life ahead of you, after all.
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Linny to perform his final act in tonight's show. I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand finale. Well, wonder no more, for the answer is a death-defying high-altitude escape.
A high-altitude escape?
The trick that Caesar died attempting.
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar.
Oh,
this was the very trick that led to his fatal fall, after which he was dubbed the Phantom Weasel. But we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused, and that the real Weasel has now confessed to their crimes.
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. I've been practicing this one for ages now, but I'm still a little nervous. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but you alone are my true witnesses.
Lenny, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So what about now? Are you an open book? Or are you still the same as ever? You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone. One day, you'll end up exactly where I am today. Maybe then you'll finally understand.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So, what are we, doing now?
Like Lenny said, when you're ready, let's head outside and watch the show.
Yeah, Lynette's done with her anyway, so let's just carry on.
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Lenny after the show, you know where he'll be. The usual haunt.
Alright. Well, let's go and watch Lenny's finale then. This trick's a pretty dangerous one, but he should be able to pull it off, right?
Magicians are not like thieves. Thieves only tear things apart. But good-hearted magicians, they put things back together.
What is my truth? Sometimes I think I'm like a gambling addict. All I care about is winning, and it doesn't matter what's at stake. By the time I come to my senses, I'm left with nothing. Oh, if I had my time again.
Let's go. Let's go see the end of this performance. Oh. Is it not being performed in the house? Is it literally outside the building? I suppose, depending on how high the death-defying drop is, it might have to be set up outside. Oh, it is getting set up outside, huh? Okay.
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
Aww. I want to see Lynette with her hair down, actually. Like, Lynette so now with her hair down. Because she has it tied up in a bow, but it's a long ponytail.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day, you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Lenny is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Wow.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
How could he possibly have done that?
He's a master of his craft. That was a beautifully animated cutscene. I like that art style. I wish they'd do it more often.
What a heart-stopping magic show!
Oh, hello, Charlotte.
Worth the trip. Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Linny has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better grand finale. It will make a great headline for the Steambird tomorrow.
Charlotte's like, news! I could make a story out of this. Oh, Charlotte, never change.
Looks like everyone really loved Linny's grand finale.
Yeah, but where is the man hiding? Even though they don't know the full story.
I doesn't see Linny anywhere. Where'd he go? Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. But, where is that?
The cemetery?
Oh, you mean the one where Caesar's buried? Yeah, that's probably it. This whole magic show kinda seemed like Linny's way of saying goodbye to Caesar. So it makes sense that that's where he'd be.
It feels like the graveyard's been the most common place we've gone to in this quest, whether it be for Navia's sake or these two's.
Alright, let's go look for him there.
Meet Linny at the cemetery. Oh, look, the flowers are around. Is the box still up there? Oh, no, of course not. They probably despawned it immediately. It probably was actually, I take that back. It probably was never an object to begin with. They reused the box. I imagine everything else was just a cutscene. So there's something I've been curious about, and I noticed it the other day, but I wanted to get a better look at it, so I want before I made my comment on it. Because the Opera Epicles, where we are, it's also the courtroom, and I thought there was something I noticed. I think it was over here. It'd be nice to just climb this place anyway. Alright, we'll get back on it in a second. Oh, you can see the Sumeru tree from here.
Yeah.
Ooh, is that... Oh, that's too thick out. Never mind. Oh, we can see it from here. This thing. This thing I'm waiting to check out. Because, like, if this is also the courthouse, as in, like, the judge, jury, and execution, doesn't this look like a gargantuan, guillotine? Where? I heard that notification. Where?
Take it easy.
Oh, I see it. Oh, there's another Hydra thing on right at the very fucking top of that thing. You know, let's get the one that's up at top first, because it'll be more awkward if we jump down and have to come back up. Hang on. I know we'll make this quicker. Scar, my boy. Fly. So now I'm getting distracted. We'll finish the story soon. When we finish the story, I will be wrapping up the stream because I need to get ready for work. And then tomorrow, it will just be side questing, expedition, basically like the wrap up of our first venture into Fontaine. And then after my day off on Sunday, we will be back with our usual schedule next week. We'll be starting with Atelier Laloa, like just trying to get back on that and get that finished, because we're 2 chapters off the end, so I don't think I'll take too many streams, at least I hope not. But we'll also be starting Resident Evil 6 for certain. And when Atelier Laloa's done, we'll be straight onto Crystar, because I want to get that done before, well, started and finished before Cry Machina. I'll be doing Shaylee. Yeah, fair enough, dude. I can't wait till I get to Dusk. I know it's going to be a little while, but I honestly can't wait. I'm so knee-deep in the Atelier franchise. Speaking of, I've been eyeing up one of Gust's other games. During the PS2 game, they did this more like techie sci-fi fantasy called AR Tor or something, like AR Tora 90 or Tora Lodi. And the first 2 games are on PS2, and the third one's on PS3. I don't have a PS3, but I could still try and hunt down the first 2. So I can try a different angle of the Gust games.
Squall Fury.
I do. Obviously, I won't get them straight away because I'm still working my way through. Because I'm still working through Iris, which I need to get back to. I put it off for a little while. I didn't actually play it that much during my week off. I just ended up mostly playing Final Fantasy 16, to be honest, working on the platinum. Oh yeah, graveyard's over here. But I'm kind of hesitant because the first 2 AR games, they're in that annoying itch place where it's like they did get released worldwide, so I can't get a European version, but they're rare, so they're pricey. And it's like the first game, I saw it for like, you can convert it into dollars yourself. I saw it for £150, and I was like, and I saw that the second game there was like buy it fresh, like just buy it outright even, on eBay for 120, or there was a bid on it, and I put in £50 on the bid because it started at that much, and no one else had gone for it, and that's still got a day on it. So if I can try and get it for 50 quid, I'll take it. Even if it's in the wrong order, it'd still be nice. Do reviews if possible. I'll talk about it, but I doubt I'll do a review. I've no interest in just in borrowing footage from other people. It's not something I like doing, personally. I'll talk about it in my streams when I get through it and explain where I put it on my list when I'm done with them, but I have no interest in doing reviews for them, at least right now, and certainly no interest in borrowing footage from other people. Because if I were to do that, I'd want to get permission first. I know people saying, "Oh, you don't need." I don't care. I'd want to message them. It's like, "Hey, can I use your footage for X, Y, and Z?" And I don't want to do that shit yet. I don't like having to talk to strangers and be like the initiator. Like people coming to me and talking to me, whatever. But having to be the initiator, I'm like, ugh. It's a review. I get that, but I'd rather it all be genuine. Like, all the footage you saw in, like, the Knights of Azure 2 review and all the Doom videos, that was my footage. That was all me. I refused to borrow or use anything else, because I prefer it that way. If I can get the footage, I will. But I said, even then, talking about RPGs, after Knights of Azure 2, you kind of have to be in the mood, because they are commitments. Talking about Doom's easy, because there's only so much you can talk about, so the videos become easier to write up, because you just go through the levels and talk about what you like. But Knights of Azure 2, there was a lot to talk about, and a lot to like put down into notes, and a lot to compress to make it the video that it was, and it took me like a month. Yeah, I get it. Still.
Magic is a performance art. A magician has to get creative to keep the audience on tenterhooks. That's our job. So I tweaked Caesar's original setup a little to keep it fresh. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of falling, suddenly feeling weightless, seeing the sky and the ground spinning and spinning. Sometimes, I can't help but wonder what Caesar thought in those final moments. Did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or did he believe that it was his own slip-up right until the end?
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since we were in Caesar's workshop. You learned magic from Caesar once, didn't you? When was that?
After I joined the House of the Hearth. To be honest, Lynette and I had an agenda when we approached him.
An agenda?
I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, I survived by secretly learning magic from street performers. I'd watch their tricks and try to figure out how they were done, but I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. What I saw was the polished final performance, but the rigorous training they put in behind the scenes remained invisible to me. I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand, hone my misdirection skills, and make niftier props. We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves, but without proper guidance from a professional magician, we quickly plateaued.
So that's why you sought Caesar out?
Yes. We figured there was no harm in asking, but it took us by surprise that he was so willing to teach us. In all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was very good to us. By contrast, we hid so many things from him. For instance, when he asked why I wanted to learn magic, I answered, "It's my passion." But in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in by an aristocrat for our magic talent, then betrayed soon after, this was no longer about me doing what I loved. What amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I was hesitating over whether to tell him the truth. Trust is a beautiful thing. Sadly, I'd forgotten how to trust by then.
Winnie.
I don't blame you. This wasn't your fault. Yeah, you got, like, brought out by, like, a rich dude, and then he tried to sell your sister. Just straight up. For profiting. It's like some miserable old dude who was then later revealed to have a whole basement of trapped women and girls. Like, that's not your fault, dude. You were a kid.
Still worried about the way I feel? You really are a gentle soul, aren't you? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the Hearth, lies and selfishness have followed me and Lynette everywhere we go. After Caesar went on tour, we became busy with our missions. The next we heard of him was that he'd fallen to his death, and was now declared to be the Phantom Weasel. That night, I remembered his smile. But as I lay there, I didn't know what to say to him. To keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you look around and realize your life is like an empty auditorium after a show, full of seats once occupied by all the people who left. But I guess that's the price we have to pay. You only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so confident this would hurt Gemma. Because I felt it for myself.
We're in your auditorium, and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, cheer up, Winnie. We've had to say our fair share of goodbyes during our journey, too. But whatever happens, Paimon always believes in what tomorrow brings. Delicious food, fun toys, and the Traveler by my side. Paimon just needs to focus on things like this, and all the unhappy stuff goes right out the window. You know, Traveler, doesn't that kind of make you Paimon's truth?
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. We are the truest thing each other has in the world, and nothing can replace that. Life has taken plenty from us, like it did from Gemma. But at least it left us with each other. That's what gave us the strength to get through the darkest days. That's why the darkness never consumed me, and why it never will. Maybe we live in the shadows too, but we remember every precious ray of light that shines through. Alright, time to lighten this conversation up a little. What did you think of the show tonight? Were you happy with it?
Anyway, enough talk about all this loneliness and depression and losing loved ones. What do you think of the show?
It was amazing! Paimon just wishes we hadn't been so distracted with the Gemma situation. We spent most of our time in the Opera House just talking and pretty much missed the entire first half of the show. Winnie, could you do just one more trick for us?
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decidedly card-free right now.
Aw, come on! Surely you can think of something. The Lenny Paimon knows can do anything if he puts his mind to it.
Oh, all right then. I'll give it a go, but only because it's you. Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand! We ain't going along with this!
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with me. Okay, try this.
Alright, Linny, what's your trick? He's playing the
3,
ignorant.
2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Now, have another look around. Maybe
Oh,
the
God, he's put another
flowers
flower
appear
on us.
somewhere else.
Really? Let's see.
Yep.
Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a different flower from the last time, right? This one's called, oh yeah, a rainbow rose. But more importantly, Paimon has to know how the trick is done. Please, Linny, pretty please!
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have to start by addressing me as teacher.
Ugh. Fine. Please, teacher, please!
Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you. Namely, the student of magic cannot solely rely on others being prepared to reveal their secrets. You have to observe, think, and find the answers for yourself.
Is that it?
Look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again
Oh,
for coming to see my
look at the
show.
time. Anyway, good
I
lesson,
bid you
guys.
both
Let's go.
Good night. I look forward to seeing you again.
All right, fine. See ya. Shall we head back down too? Paimon can't wait to read the Steambird tomorrow. Paimon bets Linny and Caesar will be plastered all over it. Let's head to the Steambird's offices tomorrow.
Oh, wow, okay,
morning
this story
and see
quest
what
is
we
still
can
going,
find
huh?
out.
Alright. You know when I said about half an hour ago? Oh, I think it's all done. It's not all done. Oh, did we get... That's a quest item, I imagine. Yep, there it is. Goes alongside all the other quest items we have. We still have Child's fucking vision. I guess we're just keeping a hold of that for another patch, then. Hit the book. We got that from... Zhongli. We got that from... Yoimiya. No, Yoimiko. Yoimiya, sorry. Yoimiko. Toma. Well, for doing Rain Shogun Part 2. For helping the Aranara. That was something as well. Oh, weird. What's the... How did this...
Gonna give it an... Paimon can't here. How Navia called him uncle.
Oh, it couldn't have been him, right? Wait until next morning, 8 till 12. And then you'll have to go to the Steambird, I imagine, and wrap it up where it started by chatting up with Charlotte. Is currently involved in the Quest Steambird interview. Do that first. God fucking damn it! Alright, fine, we'll do it. Yeah, lovely weather. Were they married indeed? Speaking of work, position, sure. Excellent. You have to ask some questions. This is just a little side quest, but it's because it's in the same place. Oh, this is this. Awesome. God, we've got a lot of exploration to do yet. I was like, where are the level points? What's this? This device can provide a strong lifting force for wing glider. Device requires you significant wind power to activate. Wind energy required approximately equal to that. Oh, so it gives you a boost. Okay, what's this? Oh, back of the card. House pieces. Oh, I like that. I kind of like that one. The Hydrocalyx Resonant Stone, Treasure Compass as usual, and then the wings. What's this? Oh, Crystal Fly Traps. That could actually be pretty damn helpful. So yeah, now we've got our commissioner. So the Steambird is our commissioner for this area. That makes sense. Alright, can we go back to the plot now?
Take it easy.
Yes, we can. We just had to start getting Fontaine experience. Okay, at least it was just that. I was worried for a second.
I'm very sorry, Charlotte, but my sister and I are quite busy today. I'm afraid we'll have to decline this interview.
Went my team Reverie to max level for boss fights. Oh, fair enough.
Oh, please, Linny. I'll only take a moment of your time. If you would be so kind.
Huh? What's happening here?
I spent all night writing my piece about the Phantom Weasel, and it was going to go to print this morning, but just as dawn broke, I suddenly received news that Caesar's fiancée, Gemma, had contacted the guards.
Oh shit, so their words had worked.
Phantom Weasel all along.
That was quick.
Hmm?
Yeah, now she knows that we were involved.
Too late, bro. That was quick, you say? It sounds like I've got some catching up to do. Please, fill me in.
There's also something kind of charming about deadpan Lynette saying bro. There we go. So about it is that specific character battles don't have original themes to their character. Oh yeah, fair enough. I imagine with those sort of things, it's just how much time they had when they were making it, and how much time the composer had, or how many songs he was commissioned for, or what, you know, things like that. There's probably a whole bunch of reasons.
Whoops! Aha! My instincts did not lead me astray. You do have something to hide. Gemma turning herself in must have something to do with Linny's performance last night.
Maybe watching my high-altitude escape trick reminded her of a better time with Caesar, and she could no longer ignore the voice of her conscience.
We had a hollow version of Bonds, but no majestic roar. So I'm doing a nightmare boss fight and inserting the songs where the OG music had it. Oh, fair enough.
Huh. Okay, then. Wait, no, there must be more to it. If that's all it took for her to have a change of heart, how did it take her 10 whole years?
Well...
Charlotte's journalistic spirit's burning red. We're gonna have to distract her somehow. The songs downloaded because they're awesome. Oh, fair enough.
Oh, I remember now. You and Gemma were nowhere to be found after the show.
Oh, Charlotte's way too cunning. She's way too good at this.
Quickfire question. Where did you all go after the show?
Oh, we went to the cemetery and Linny did a private magic trick just for us. Actually, glad you mentioned it, because that reminds Paimon, guess what? Linny started using rainbow roses in his tricks.
What?
I don't recall ever having received a rainbow rose from you myself. Is this supposed to mean that they're more important to you than your own sister?
Oh, Jesus Christ, we've just dug another hole. Because the rainbow rose you give for people that mean the world to you, and he's never given his sister one. Whoops, yep, ooh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's like he's dug one hole because we know... Charlotte knows that he's involved in Gemma's confession, and now he's dug another hole because now Paimon's just admitted that we've got something Ah, shit.
No, I just,
What now? Oh, did Paimon say something
And
wrong
Lynette,
again?
because she's, you know, extremely smart, saw straight through it and probably absolutely has read how roses work. And knows what the roses mean.
This is getting pretty awkward. What do we do, Traveler?
Seems like this interview wasn't meant to be. Well, never mind.
There's always next time. Forgive my persistence, but when there's explosive news waiting to be found, I can't turn away. The news about Gemma has already made waves, and I'll stop at nothing to get to the bottom of it all. Apparently, one of the things she said to the guards was that her final wish is to see Lorenzo one last time. Ah, there's clearly a web of complicated relationships there. Can't blame me for being curious. All right, I guess I'll leave you to continue the rest of your conversation in peace. Bye for now.
Are you really, Charlotte? Are you not just gonna, like, duck around the corner and wait?
Paimon didn't mean to.
So they call you fake news. But if she's after the truth, it's just she knows she's not gonna get it right now, so she's trying to leave.
Don't worry, I wasn't angry. I was just trying to distract her.
Oh, okay. Okay. Bullet dodged.
Oh, really? Oh, thank goodness. You scared Paimon there.
Phew. You and me both, Paimon.
Even Linny was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I thought Lynette's gonna fucking kill my brother. But yeah, maybe you should, even as a joke, maybe you should like actually like get something for your sister from time to time. Show her that she's still appreciated. Just a thought, Linné. Just a thought, my dude. Let your sister know if she's appreciated once in a blue moon.
Please, take good care of that rainbow rose.
Jesus, are you sure she was joking? She sounds a little jealous.
I'd be really upset if you lost it.
Ooh. And that's the end of the story. See, I think she was a little annoyed that she hadn't been given a rainbow rose before, considering it's supposed to mean, like, you know, someone who cares about the most. It's like, she's literally been next to you all your life. What do you mean she's not the person you care about the most? But I think, especially because my throat's starting to go, that makes a good enough stopping point. We've done all of the main story events of this update. She broke on. I don't think it's that deep, dude. I think it's more that those two have, especially with their background, lived a life of not trusting anyone and only being able to rely on each other. She probably just felt it was a little bit of a kick to the shins when he said the person he cares about the most isn't her. It's like, Jesus Christ, all the shit we've been through, you know? That's how I took it. Not broke on, more just like, oh, really? She doesn't come across as that sort of person. So after everything we've been through, someone else is more important? Alright, I see how it is. But like, obviously not that seriously, because she loves her brother. And she says her brother's the one she trusts the most, but still. But yeah, because we're all done with the main story stuff, I'm not done with my time in Fontaine, so I'm not going to start streaming A Little Lower tomorrow. We're still going to stream more Genshin. But tomorrow can be the most relaxed stream of the lot. We don't have to worry about moving the plot forward. We can literally just go explore, do side quests, and see where the day takes us. 2023, yeah. And after, like, I'm not working tomorrow, so I'm hoping, internet holding, it will be a long one. After like 5 or 6 hours, we'll just see where we end up, and then we can close the page on Genshin 4.0. I say that, but I can guarantee you, when I'm not streaming on Sunday, new Genshin updates always do this to me. I'll be playing Genshin all day on Sunday, probably anyway. I'll probably drop everything and play it. Like I said, I have no idea when I'm going to get back to Atelier Iris. And to be fair, for anyone who is curious and hasn't played the old one, I've only played Iris 1, but I still genuinely recommend it. I'm enjoying it. The only gripe I have with it is genuinely that the gameplay moves really slow. Like, everything about it's good, it's just if it had like a fast forward button that like a remaster could add, for example, hint hint, nudge nudge, please Gust, it would solve that problem. But when you don't have it, you realize that, like, man, this game kind of moves a little slow. Like, you know, the animation takes a sec to make something in sort of thing. You know, it's you don't recommend I heavily recommend Atelier Remake. Just don't fucking 100% it. Enjoy it casually. Don't go for the platinum. You go for the platinum, it becomes extremely grindy. As one man learned the hard way. It was extremely grindy, extremely particular, extremely precise, and just extremely guide following, and it will also still take you many playthroughs. And there's certain things that are luck factors that just throw the whole thing under the bus. Don't go 100%. Enjoy it casually. Casually, it's fucking great. I loved Marie Remake. It's short as hell, but I liked it.
Take it easy.
Fair enough, dude. But I mean, we're always going to have differing opinions on the Atelier series, and that's fine. The fact that they're a series of such great games but they all have their own things, you know? They all have their own charms, their own benefits, their own factors. That just makes it that everyone has a different favourite. Or at least everyone I spoke to seems to have a different favourite. I think that just makes the magic for itself. But I digress. I've been wandering around so much that we jumped down there and I wandered all the way around the block back to here, for goodness sake, without even thinking about it. So... But yeah. Yeah, so I hear a lot of great things about Shaylee. I hear a lot of great things about Dusk in general, to be fair. That's why I'm so excited for it. As I will be any future Atelier game. But yeah, Iris 1, genuinely really good. Just wish there was a speed up function. It's the only real gripe I have with it. But that'll do from me. So I'll see you all tomorrow for hopefully a more laid-back stream. No more plot worrying about. Just, we're going to go explore Fontaine and all of the mysteries it holds, and see what side quests we can go up to. Considering, you know, there's also the water exploration, we've really barely scratched the surface. Because we've got all of this yet, you know? There's still so much yet to do, so much yet to find, and so much more to explore. I mean, heck, there's still a waypoint there I haven't picked up, for goodness sake. But I digress. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. Sorry again for the internet trouble, it's just... I don't even think it was my internet. My internet didn't go down. I think my PlayStation just had a moment. Okay, yeah, fair enough. As always, as well, in the description of every video, you can find my Twitter, my Patreon, my PayPal if you feel so interested. But until next time, you all take care now, and I will see you then. Peace.